Hey guys, John Stamos here, the Renaissance Garden Guy, here in my hardiness zone 5B 6A garden. I have a really short video for you today talking about picking up, raking or not raking autumn leaves that are still on the ground in spring and even back in autumn. So we're going to talk about that. I wrote about this extensively on the Renaissance Garden Guy website and blog. Autumn leaves, rake them or forget them, and also in how to prepare your garden for winter. I'm an advocate in my garden for raking up the leaves, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. We're going to take a quick look at an example leaf pile here in my Michiana Shores garden. I'll give you a little hint before we do that. I live in an area, and my garden's in an area surrounded by a massive oak forest. So there are oak leaves all over the place. Oak leaves are really special and different, and I'm going to show you and explain in just a little bit. I'm going to flip you around and show you what I do, why I do it. Okay, so what I'm doing here, you'll see, look, this is a macrophylla hydrangea, big leaf hydrangea, and this is springtime now, March 7th. But what happens is in the fall, you get a blanket of particularly these guys, oak leaves. And you can see, take a look at this thing, look how shiny it is. Now, I did most of my raking in the late fall and early winter, and I've been doing bits and pieces of it this fall. But in autumn leaves, rake them and forget them. And in how to prepare your garden for winter, in my particular case, I advocate raking. And I'm going to tell you why. I live in the middle of an oak tree forest. Oak trees are everywhere. And oak tree leaves, you can see how shiny that is. It's because they're packed with things called tannins and lignins. Beech and chestnuts are the same way. What those things are, they're polymers and they're polyphenolic compounds. In layman's terms, they're basically a preservative. So what happens is with these leaves, when they fall, they don't decompose. They just stay like this. And when you get 7, 8, 9, 10 inches of them on the ground, they create an impermeable tarp. So moisture doesn't get to the plants. A lot of other bad things can happen, like harmful molds. Particularly pests like voles and chipmunks like to use the leaf cover to obscure and obfuscate and make trouble while no one can see them. So it's a real pain in the ass for me to leave oak leaves down there like this. Now, of course, other types of leaves, fallen leaves are a wonderful source of nitrogen, of NPK. The leaves are rich with all of these nutrients. They're essentially a fertilizer. The tree's roots will take up, let's see if I can find a harmless leaf. Here's one, here's a maple leaf, and this is gonna decompose. You can see that little guy right there. What happens is the maple tree will take, all trees will take up all the nutrients that it can from the soil and distribute those nutrients up through the trunk and the branches and the leaves. So these leaves are packed with nutrients from the soil. NPK, 3 critical ones, right? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So what happens is when these leaves decompose, they release all of those nutrients into the soil. So fallen leaves are an awesome form of compost, unless they're the completely indestructible oak leaves, which I rake up. So that's the game plan for me here in the Renaissance Garden Guy garden here in 5B 6A, and it is what it is. I got to rake these things up. So now all of the Renaissance Garden Guy website and blog subscribers and readers, and hopefully the Renaissance Garden Guy YouTube channel subscribers, viewers, will understand my motivation for raking these leaves up in my garden. Again, if you don't have oak leaves, you just have regular leaves. Maple leaves are a perfect example. They're perfect fertilizer and compost for your garden. I have the twin problems of oak leaves, again, packed with tannins and lignins, these polymers, polyphenolic compounds that are basically preservers, and they keep the leaves from decomposing. And I've got tons of them. There's forest all around here. So I'll get sometimes a foot and a half worth of leaves on the ground in here. They don't decompose. They don't let water into the ground. Voles, moles, chipmunks, all sorts of those guys like to do their digging and tunneling under the cover of those leaves. So in a situation like that, I recommend raking them and getting rid of them. Otherwise, leave them. It's good for the ground. All those nutrients and compounds and elements that get into the soil through the decomposition of the leaves, beneficial to all of your garden plants. But go ahead and check out Autumn Leaves, Rake them or Forget them, and How to Prepare Your Garden for Winter. They're both articles on the Renaissance Garden Guy website, renaissancegardenguy.com. Very interesting. You'll see my rationale for picking those things up in those articles as well. So right now, it's your old pal John G. Stamos, the Renaissance Garden Guy, signing off from my Michiana Shores Hardiness Zone 5B6A garden. Remember to hit subscribe here on the Renaissance Garden Guy YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the Renaissance Garden Guy website and blog, packed with good information and entertaining buffoonery on my part. So we'll see you guys soon. Renaissance Garden Guy, John G. Stamos, over and out.